Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Can you hear me okay? Sorry that we can't do music. I know it's such a bummer, but they were pulling recorded videos off with any music, so I figure it's not worth the risk. All right, we're going to get started here in just a couple minutes. I'm going to give a couple more people time to hop on live, and then we will have a little bit of time, I hope, for questions at the end if anybody has any questions. Thank you. Thanks, Meg. Thank you, Brittany. All right, you guys, we'll go ahead and get started a couple minutes early just to cover some little announcements here. So welcome to the team call. For those of you who might not know who I am, my name is Brittany Leggett, and I am the proud founder of Dynasty United. And I'm excited today to talk to you about this topic, how to master a challenge group invite, because it truly is such a big part of our business and something that I think gets overcomplicated. So I really want to take some time to break it down and honestly teach you exactly what I teach all of my new coaches. And honestly, my new coaches become incredible at crafting challenge group invites if they follow this method, if they kind of make sure they cover these points. So I'm excited to hand this off to the rest of the team so that you guys can not overcomplicate the invite, so that you can truly become masters at the 3 vital behaviors, or I should say 4 vital behaviors now. The main one being challenge group invites. And it doesn't have to be a drag. It doesn't have to be stressful. It can be fun. So before we get started with that, I wanted to go over just a couple small little housekeeping announcements here that I noticed that I want to make sure we all know. That the Coach Online office was having some issues today. You can access things through the previous office view, and I did notice that Safari was working better than Chrome. So they're working on that if it's not fixed on your end yet. But also know that tonight, there's going to be downtime on the Coach Online office. So between 9 and 10 p.m. Pacific time, the Coach Online office is going to be down. So don't expect to run orders. Don't expect to, do any of that during that time, because usually it's just, you just can't access it. So keep your customers before or after or whatever, so you can kind of eliminate a little bit of a headache for you. So you guys, a pretty cool thing that they just released are these digital unlocks on Beachbody On Demand. So if you don't know about that, T25, Body Beast, and Size, our customers and people can buy these digital unlocks. Instead of buying the entire program, they can purchase a digital copy through On Demand. So check out the FAQ if you feel like that would be a good thing for your market, or maybe you have some gym goers that would like to add on Body Beast to Hammer Chisel or whatever. So just make sure you know about that, because that's a pretty cool feature for On Demand now. We're getting started in our team cup, so I hope you guys are on a team. If you're not on a team, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Just keep building your business with momentum. But if you are on a team, just show up with the team. Be the leader. I was talking on the National Wake Up Call after the National Wake Up Call with Jeff, and the cool thing about the Team Cup is even though there's a captain, the Team Cup really kind of shows leadership there, because just because the captain is the captain doesn't mean that other coaches on the team can't take on a leadership role, be creative, come up with ideas, be assertive, encourage one another. So if you're on a Team Cup, I really want to challenge you to be that leader in your Team Cup team, and really go for prizes, of course, but go for your personal best. Go for the big goals that you want to go for. This is the time to do it, because you get to win fun prizes around it. You get to do it with a group of fun people. So make the most out of the Team Cup, you guys. And then the last little housekeeping announcement is with Success Starters. We are now into 2016. So any coach who signed up January 31st or before is eligible to earn a free summit ticket with Success Starters for 2016. So Success Starters, yeah, she's taking a little nap. Success Starters are basic coaches who sign up and they earn Success Club their first 3 consecutive months as a coach, which is so awesome and it's going to, honestly launch your business in a big way. But Beachbody likes to reward you guys and give you a free ticket to Coach Summit. So if you are a coach that signed up on January 31st or before, then you're earning a 2016 Summit ticket. If you signed up February 1st or after, then you are earning a 2017 Summit ticket. So I just wanted to make that clarification so everybody knows what's up. And if you haven't registered yet, you got to register. Get on the waiting list because spots are definitely going to open up, and it's a life-changing event for your Beachbody journey. So, you guys, like I said, I'm excited about talking about how to craft our challenge group invites. You guys, this is just my perspective. There's a million ways you can do this: videos, blogs, websites. I'm going to specifically be talking about what I've done in the 3 years of my business and crafting a challenge group post on Facebook that I feel everybody can recreate, everybody can master, everybody can do. But I do believe that there are some pretty specific things that need to be a part of this invite in order to make it effective. So when I say effective, I don't mean post a challenge group invite and expect 50 likes. Okay, that's, I think, a big issue for people, especially new coaches. If they don't get a ton of likes, they feel like it was a flop. So I want to teach you to retrain your brain, because that's not the case. I can't tell you how many invites I posted as a new coach, or even now sometimes as a veteran coach. I'll post something and it doesn't get very many likes at all. I mean, I'll post a picture of Ruka and it'll get a ton of likes. I'll post a challenge group invite and it doesn't get very many at all. But what it does is it waters those seeds. People are watching me. People end up having the courage to reach out to me personally, and we kind of start talking about their goals. So just because you don't get the physical likes or comments on your post doesn't mean people aren't watching. And so one of the most critical mistakes I see coaches make is they'll try really, really hard and post this, what they feel is a great challenge group post on their wall. And it took courage, right? I mean, because it's not easy to do at first. And then it doesn't get very many likes. And so they stop posting. And they post less, and they post less about that. Or they just wait for people to come to them. And you know what that does? To be kind of harsh and to call it like it is, what that does is you posted that one challenge group invite, and then you stopped, and you basically validated their suspicions that you were just going for a sale, because you stopped, because it was something that you aren't really committed to from their perspective, right? You just stopped because it wasn't a popular post. And so that, to them, to the people that were looking, they're like, okay, I guess that was like a trend that she stopped doing, or a fad that she just kind of gave up on. So never mind, I'll look for the next person. And so you kill your credibility when you do that. And I'm talking to all of us. I've done that too, because fear sets in and you're like, people think I'm annoying or whatever, but that's not the case. Okay. So I'm going to help you figure out how to build the bones of a beautiful challenge group. And I want you to decide, no matter what the interaction is on your post, that you're going to continue working this craft. You're going to continue practicing this discipline in your business, because it matters and because it shows people that you are sticking with this. This is something that's important to you, and you're not going to just stop after 1 month or so. So let me go ahead and get screen sharing here and get into this. I hope that they are going to be clear enough for you. You'll have to let me know. Okay, so let's see. So we're talking about how to master the challenge group invite. So I do recommend you either screenshotting this or taking some notes, because I feel like you can use this as a guide as you're crafting each of your challenge group invites from now on. So definitely be prepared, be your own CEO, and take some notes. Okay, so let's see here. So the first thing that's so important is for you to be you. I can't tell you how many times I see coaches post that just look like carbon copies of other people. And so it's very important that you are sharing your personality when you're posting. It's very important that you talk like you talk in your post. I think sometimes new coaches are nervous about posting because it's scary, and so they end up just posting exactly like their upline or exactly like their success partner. But that comes across as not like it's you, you know? So make sure that you're being yourself. Talk like you would talk to somebody. Use the colors and the style that represents you. You know, like if you are obsessed with black and white, then maybe you shouldn't be worried about glitter and rainbow colors, you know, but rather do more black and white style. Like, I don't know if that's your style, but I'm just saying, if you have a color scheme that's more you or a style that's more you, go with you. This is why it's so important for you to use others as inspiration, but not I can't tell you how many times I see messages from just various coaches of the network asking if they can use my post or use my wording or use my graphic. And do I really care if they're going to use my graphic or my wording? Not really. I honestly don't care. But the truth is, if they do that, their market is going to know, their audience is going to know. It's going to feel disconnected because it's not them. And so if you're using other people's posts verbatim, without putting your own spin on it, it's not going to come across as you. And so it's really not about, oh, I worked hard on this, I don't want you to take it. Honestly, it's more about, hey, like, this needs to be you because you're talking to your audience. You're talking to people who connect with you. And if you keep posting, listen to this, like this hit me hard one time when I heard it. If you keep posting somebody else's posts, if you keep posting somebody else's wording, who is your audience going to be connecting with? Someone else. And so when they are working with you, it's not going to be what they expect. You're not going to be attracting people that are like you, or the people that you want, because they're going to expect something else, because your posts are basically somebody else's posts. So that's why it's so important for you to use others as inspiration, but not as copy and paste and recreate their exact post. So be you. Don't use Beachbody lingo. This is a big assignment in my new coach training group, to the point where I go through each of my new coaches' posts and I give them sometimes harsh feedback, and never to be mean, but just true feedback before they post their first challenge group post. And sometimes they take my advice and sometimes they don't. They're all their own CEOs. But what I always am suggesting to them is to stop using Beachbody lingo, because nobody knows Beachbody lingo except coaches. So when we talk about challenge groups and we talk about 21-day fix and we talk about T25, honestly, nobody knows what that is unless they're a loyal Beachbody customer. And so instead of using that Beachbody lingo, describe what you're trying to say. Describe a challenge group. Describe 21-day fix. Describe T25. It's okay if you want to use it, but don't just say, hey, who wants to do 21-day fix with me? Because nobody knows what you're talking about. Formal versus informal. I think sometimes we are getting used to this whole inviting thing. We're getting used to what our brand is. And a lot of times our challenge group posts come across as pretty formal, pretty stuffy, like, hey, if you want to be in my group, just comment below. And it's like, there's no heart to it. It's very formal. So maybe just keep an eye on that. If that fits your personality, then go for it. But don't worry about being so formal. Make sure that your post, if you read it out loud, which I highly recommend before you post it, read it out loud to yourself or to your spouse for harsh feedback. If it doesn't sound like you, then it needs to be tweaked. It needs to be revised. Okay, so the number one tip I have for you is to be you. Number two, this kind of goes back to formal and informal. Speak from the heart, you guys, because the struggles that you are going through or have come through, or that you're facing right now, those struggles are exactly what people relate to. People need to know about your journey, not just, hey, I'm a coach, I do this stuff, you should join me. Like, add a little bit of heart to it, add a little bit of your story there. And ask yourself, like, is this post allowing my audience to see themselves in it? Like, can they see themselves getting results? Am I crafting my post in such a way where I'm saying, hey, like, I want you to do this with me? Are you allowing them to see that what you're doing is for them too. Make it about us. Don't make it about you. Don't say, hey, I'm doing this and I love this, and because of this, I lost 10 pounds and that's great. That's really, really great. And hopefully most of your friends will be happy for you. But they won't say to themselves, oh man, I'm inspired. Maybe I could do that with her. And that's exactly what you want. You want people to say, oh, I saw her post and I wonder if that's something that I could do with her. I wonder if that would be something that would be effective for me or fun for me or whatever. So think about that. Speak from your heart. Talk about your struggles, share your journey, but make sure that you're crafting your posts in such a way that they can see themselves there in the challenge group with you, getting results. And make it about us, not about me. And then I had to put this in there. Don't you dare put a link in there. Don't you dare put a Beachbody purchase link in your challenge group post, because it just takes away all credibility. I'm sure there's some people that disagree with me, but I'm speaking from my experience. Putting a link in there cheapens it, and it doesn't really matter what you say. If there's a link there, anyone who doesn't truly understand what you're doing, it just seems like you care only about the sale, and it creates a barrier. So don't put the link in there. The link should be the last thing you ever share with somebody, and it should always, always, always only come in a personal message. Okay, number 3. This is so important, you guys. Speak to the ideal customer. Speak to your ideal customer. If you haven't done the ideal customer avatar yet, it's in the Coach Family Files group, and you've got to do it, because there's absolutely no way that you can reach everybody. So you got to stop trying, because we need to be appealing to the person that you are trying to attract, the person that you would love to help. For instance, my customers often want to work on their problem areas, like their booty or their thighs or their tummy or whatever. And so sometimes you'll see me talking about problem areas, highlighting problem areas. And so, or maybe your ideal customer isn't really about losing weight. Maybe I remember like Allie and some of my newer coaches like Erin and Amanda, and even Megan, like it never really was about weight loss to them. It was more about maintaining healthy habits and building lean muscle, taking good care of themselves. So if that's your ideal customer, then talk about that. Talk about more than just weight loss. Talk about what you're receiving from a challenge group and from your programs. But appeal to the ideal person that you really, really want to help. If you have a heart for moms or busy professionals, then talk about that. I tend to always talk about a niche weight loss. Like I can really, really relate to girls who really have like 10 to 15 pounds to lose. For some reason, I just really connect with them because that was me. And so I can just really relate to them, and I know I can help them. But again, describe what you're doing in normal words, because you're trying to attract the person that you used to be, or the person that you have a true heart to help. And so using a bunch of acronyms and proper nouns that they've never heard of is going to cause a disconnect. So describe in normal words. An example I always love to use is something like this. Instead of saying, hey guys, who wants to join me in 21 Day Fix? I'm starting a group on February 15th. Who wants to join me? Leave your email below. Instead of that, I would say something like, hey, what if I told you you could lose up to 10 to 15 pounds in 21 days by working out with me for 30 minutes every day at your own home, and also using a really cute color-coded container system that helps you learn healthy, clean eating? Who would be interested? Leave your email below. I guarantee you that second one is going to connect with so many more people, because you're describing exactly what's possible with 21 Day Fix, instead of just saying, who wants to do 21 Day Fix with me? That nobody or very few people, I mean, we have great brand recognition, let's be honest here. A lot of people know what 21 Day Fix is now, but you'll get a lot more emotional connection with people, relatability, when you describe the program and what it's going to do for people. Okay, so number 4 is huge. Be the image to your words. Okay, that is big, 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 big. And if you haven't listened, I teamed up with Allie Upham last year, and we presented at Summit all about the challenge group invitation all the way to transformation. So if you haven't listened to that training yet and you want some more in-depth training, definitely find that in the Coach Online office, or it's on YouTube somewhere too. But we did that last year, 2015 Summit, and I think that could be very helpful for you. So, but my number 4 tip for mastering the challenge group invite is to be the image to your words. You know, honestly, no matter what. I think occasionally you can use an image that isn't you, and I think that's all right. But, you know, I don't think it's ideal to give you my opinion. I don't think it's ideal, because think about it. The people that you're trying to reach, the people that are following you, they connect with you. So they want to see you. If they see you in the picture doing meal prep, or they see you doing your favorite, you know, workout move, or they see you, you know, I don't know, whatever you're doing, practicing handstands with your kids, whatever it is, living a healthy lifestyle, if you're the image to your words, people are going to relate. And honestly, it needs to be catchy, not like it needs to be the most creative thing ever. It just needs to catch people's eyes. And so the thing with that is these dark images, it just can't be. Take the extra time to go to a spot in your home or outside that's well lit, because lighting totally matters. Totally matters. So don't use stock photos. And I would venture to say ever. I mean, if there's a launch program coming out, or like, you know, for instance, we have a few of our girls, awesome girls, in the 21 or the 22-minute hardcore test group. And so if they do a before and after picture and you want to share theirs, that's different, because that's not a stock photo. That's somebody on your team that you have a personal relationship with. Or let's just say your challenger had amazing 21-day fix results. Absolutely share that, because that's not you in the image, but it's somebody that you absolutely can tell a story about, you have a relationship with. So a stock photo, just like a picture of Chalene Johnson doing PIO is great, but nobody really relates to that. So just keep that in mind. Don't use stock photos. Use yourself, or use your own stuff, or use people on your team or your challengers who have given you permission to share their stuff, and you can kind of talk to the relationship that you have. But to trump all of that is to showcase your own results. I mean, if you don't have a transformation of some kind, it doesn't have to be some incredible physical transformation, because we all know it's much more than six-pack abs here. But you've got to showcase your results. And that's why it's so important for us to be proof the products work, because whether it's a physical, ideally it would be a physical transformation, because that is proof, right? I mean, nobody can argue that. But if that's not what you have, then maybe it's some other transformation. Maybe it's some other result that you share, but it's still got to be you. You guys, the picture is the main thing. You got to remember, I can't remember the exact statistic, but it's over 70% of Facebook users are on their phones. And so I told you guys in my new coach training group, I have my new coaches share their first challenge group invite so I can give them feedback. And so many coaches, and this is not knocking any of them, this is just a common mistake. So many coaches create their first challenge group invite, and the picture of them is like the size of a quarter. And it is, and then the rest of the graphic is all words, you know, and that is, that's the opposite. That's the opposite. The picture should be the main thing, with only a few keywords on the graphic. Too many words instantly looks like a magazine article. Too many words, text on the photo, it just instantly looks like an ad. And so, yeah, we've all made that mistake. Trust me. You can go through some of my photos and find some horrific ones, and I'm not hiding that. I've just come a long way, and I've learned a lot, and I'm passing this on in order to shorten the learning curve. So honestly, that you don't have to go through that painful process of learning. You can just come right out of the gate with some great tips. So the picture, you guys, the picture should be the main thing. And follow coaches. I'm going to give you some great examples at the end of this call. Follow coaches who just have a knack for it. You guys, you do not have to spend hours on PicMonkey or Canva or WordSwag, or you do not need to make your graphics super involved. Keep it simple, because honestly, nobody really cares. If your graphic is amazing, it might catch more people's eyes, and that's cool. You know, you might catch people and make them stop scrolling on Facebook, so that's really great. So if that's like something you're naturally good at, then go for it. But if it's not, please don't spend hours creating a graphic for your challenge group post. You can go so simple, and it can be just as effective. Okay, number 5, creating urgency is imperative. If you don't plan ahead, then you will always fall short. You guys, you have to learn what your market needs. My market needs a solid 14 days to plan to be a part of a challenge group. So plan ahead. Don't start inviting 2 days before the deadline of the challenge group is. So make sure that you plan ahead. Look at your calendar and figure out, okay, the next challenge group is February 29th. So that means for me, I need to be getting my invites out probably by, February 12th or 13th to give myself plenty of time so nobody feels rushed. I can talk about it publicly. I can then follow up privately with people who had some interest and not rush anybody. When you're creating this post, though, you've got to have a deadline, because otherwise, you know what people will do? They'll see your great post and they'll say, oh, that's awesome. I want to do that. That sounds great, and then they'll do it in like 6 months. But if you set a deadline and you're like, hey, I'm looking for 5 more women who want, or whatever your thing is, I'm looking for 5 more people who really are ready for change, really want to do something different in their fitness. They really want to achieve some results, some goals. They're sick of being uncomfortable. I'm looking for 5 women to do this with me. Like, who is interested? Would you like some more information? I have to, you have to get your RSVP in by February 15th. So that your stuff comes in time. But just let me know, do you want some information? Comment below or message me for some details. Give yourself a buffer. If you say the deadline is February 15th, the real deadline should probably be February 18th, because life happens, right? So set a deadline and give yourself a buffer, but create that urgency and talk about the deadline to RSVP in your post. And always, always remember that you're going to need about 5 to 7 business days for shipping. That's just kind of how it goes. And sometimes it's sooner than that. Sometimes it's longer than that, but normally it's around that time. So let's see here. Okay, last part here is a call to action. So this is important, because if you don't tell people to do anything, they're just going to either like it or maybe just scroll past it. So call to action. Ask them to do something. Comment below. Message me for details. Like this post if you can relate to this. Like any sort of call to action, give them something to do, because then it gives you something to go with. Like if they are bold enough to comment, that's awesome, because then that gives you a perfect opportunity to reach out to them either in the comments and then move over to private message, or just go ahead to private message and say, hey, I saw your comment on my post and I just kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit more. Like, how are you doing? What part of my post did you relate to, or whatever. You can get people to start talking about their goals, start asking questions, which you guys, you might not have a solid yes to your challenge group every time somebody comments, but you've begun the conversation. You've begun the beginning stages of coaching them, meaning you're figuring out their why, you're figuring out their goals, you're figuring out what it is about your post that strikes them, so that you can start, kind of prompting them and sharing how this can help them with their need. So you also, like I said, they might not be ready right then. They might not be ready to grab a challenge pack and join your February 29th, group. But I promise you, those people are going to be watching your page. And if you do, like I said in the beginning, if you never post again, they're going to say, oh, well, I guess I guess that wasn't a good solution for me, or I guess that didn't really work. That's what they assume. But if you're somebody that continues to post, I'm talking like, if you're committed to like helping challengers every single month, I would be as bold to say you need to be putting a challenge group invite up to 3 times a week on your wall, on your Facebook, or on your social media. Of course, when you're doing that, you have to have other stuff that's not Beachbody on your page so that you don't become a robot. But you can't just post your challenge group invite one time and expect your whole audience to see it. That's not how Facebook works. Maybe 20%, if that, probably more like 10% of your Facebook audience will actually see it. So make sure that you get to talking to them, and that happens with a call to action, you guys. So talking to them in private message, will then heighten them to be really paying close attention to everything else that you post in the future, and give them a reason. Why should they join now? You know, what is it about your group? Like, why should they join? Is it because it's going to be the best group ever and you guys are going to do Flash Friday challenges? Or is it going to be the best group ever because you're going to do a raffle at the end for a free cookbook? Is it going to be the best group ever because what? I don't know. I mean, figure it out. Figure out why they should join now versus 6 months ago. So before I share examples with you guys, I do want to talk to you about the iceberg, because this is important. So when you are thinking about, I wish I had my whiteboard up here, but when you're thinking about inviting to a challenge group, right, you can picture an iceberg, right? So I'm not really good at drawing icebergs, but you can picture an iceberg, right? So the top of the iceberg is your public challenge group invite. Okay, it's important. It's really important because it's getting the word out. You're helping people understand what you're doing on a regular basis publicly, and so it helps you get the word out to the people that you might not think to privately invite, the people that you maybe have lost touch with or you just kind of forget to reconnect with. So it hits those people. So your public invite is very, very, very important. But I got to tell you, the bulk of the results comes after the public invite. Then here is all the personal invite, under the water, under the surface, where nobody else really sees you connecting with people on a one-on-one level. And also you can reach out boldly to people and say, hey, I know it's been a while since we chatted. I'm not sure if you saw my public iceberg. I'm not sure if you saw my public, or I'm not sure if you saw my post, my recent post on my Facebook, but I keep thinking about you. Like, would you be interested in joining me for this super fun challenge group that I do every month? I keep thinking it'd be something that you would enjoy. And so your public post serves your personal invites as well, and vice versa. So don't feel like the only thing you do is post publicly and then it's a done deal. Trust me, that's not how it works. You do need, you need to make sure that you're personally inviting, boldly inviting the people that you feel are going to love your group. So don't skip the personal invites. Okay, so lastly, you guys, I want to show you just some examples here. Some of my favorite examples for a few reasons. And these are a lot of the examples that I share with my new coaches so that they have a visual. So you guys can kind of see here in these posts, the things that I'm going to pick out that just stand out to me are that there's not a ton of wording. The image is the main thing, right? The image is, the picture is the main event here. The wording is keywords. It's not everything that they're ever going to get in the challenge group. It's keywords. There's a deadline. There's urgency. There's usually a call to action in the post. They're not stock photos. They're real life photos. We've got Miranda from left all the way down. Miranda on the left, Sarah on the right, Lindsay, Shay, and Megan. And you guys, this is important because they didn't, maybe some of these took them a while to create, but I would bet a lot of these didn't take very much time at all, So I screenshotted Megan's on the bottom right here. I know you can't read that, but I screenshotted that so that you could see the post. What you put in the post is very important, and it's very important that you add spaces in between main thoughts like she's done. She's broken up her sentences because that way our eyes, especially on a mobile device, our eyes are more drawn to it versus like a squished up paragraph where all the words are together. Trust me, 99% of your audience is going to scroll right past that because it looks like too much work to focus on. I know that's so lazy, but that's the truth. So add in emojis, add in breaks, add in all capital letters. And, don't make them too long. Unless you're appealing just strictly to your cold market, you can kind of experiment with that. But on Facebook, on social media, length is earned. And so more than likely, the more successful posts that you do are going to be shorter. They're going to be more brief, kind of like Megan's here. That length is a perfect length where she's describing the challenge group. She's inviting people to come along. She's using a Woofu link, which I highly recommend, using a free version of Woofu to to use a questionnaire. You don't have to do that though. But these are eye-catching, right? A lot of them are simple. A lot of them are just bold black text. You don't see a lot of thin cursive here because thin, small cursive is hard to read. So think about that. You don't see a lot of like light blues or yellows because that's hard to read. So think about that. Screenshot this if you want for examples. But again, remember one of my earlier points, don't just take somebody's inspiration and copy it because it won't be you. Use it as inspiration and do a spin off of it, but don't do it exactly like them. Just, you know, maybe use some of their ideas and make it your own. You guys, I follow things like Target, Tide. Who else do I really love? Target, Tide. Under Armour is a big one for me. I love looking at their Facebook marketing because that gives me inspiration, or a Tide commercial, or anything that kind of catches your eye. Ask yourself, okay, what was it about that ad or commercial or post that caught my eye, and then recreate it. The last thing, just in closing here, I want to talk about with challenge group posts. I found that a lot of people tend to make their challenge group invites their story. And so for a new coach, I'm going to recommend against this. And this is why. I'm going to recommend that you separate them, creating a post that's just about sharing part of your story, part of your why, with no invitation attached to it, because that comes across as more genuine. It comes across as you just simply sharing your journey, sharing your story. When you're inviting to a challenge group, it's important to reference your story, remember, but it's not supposed to just be about you. Remember, it's supposed to be about us. Challenge group invites should create that clear hole that somebody else can insert themselves into. They're like, okay, I can relate to that. I understand what she's talking about. So it is important for you to share your struggle, share your heart, share a piece of your story, but not your entire. That's not the place to unload the first part of your entire story in a challenge group invite. Separate them out. Create a post that's just sharing your story or your why or your journey through Beachbody, or your journey to Beachbody, and then create a separate post that is a challenge group invite where you refer back to your story, but the feel of the challenge group invite is more like all about us. Does that make sense, you guys? Does anybody have any questions here as we're kind of closing out? So just to kind of recap here, we talked about, let's see. We talked about the first part was being you. The first part was talking like you, being like you, using your style, your colors, using others for inspiration, but not copying, not using Beachbody lingo, being kind of a normal person, and not being afraid to be informal. Speak from the heart was number 2. Talk about your struggles and your journey, but make it about us. Make sure that they can see themselves there with you. And don't you dare put a link in that challenge group invite. Number 3, speak to your ideal customer. Who is the person that you want to reach? Who is the person that you're dying to help? Speak to that person. Speak to their interests, their fears, their hangups, their problem areas, their lifestyle, and describe what you're doing in normal words. Number 4, be the image to your words. Make sure it's eye-catching. No stock photos. Make sure you've got good lighting. The picture should be the main thing, and being simple is a perfect approach. It doesn't have to be complicated. Create that urgency, plan ahead, set a deadline, give a buffer for your deadline, and plan for 5 to 7 business days for shipping. And then number 6 is the call to action. Ask them to do something. Comment below. Message you for details. Get people to start talking about their goals and their questions. Give them a reason to join now versus later. Okay, so do you make your pictures and ads on a desktop or on your phone with an app? I personally use a desktop. I feel like if you are in a weird spot and you don't have a desktop, I understand that. But at some point, I feel like you got to set your business up like a business. And I feel like you can do a lot more on a desktop or laptop computer. And that's a goal that you can set for yourself, maybe an earning goal, but treat your business like a business and have the most functionality for yourself, which is a desktop or a laptop. This is a good question, Meg. How many challenge group posts you put together for one group? Do you continue to reuse the same challenge group posts? So great question. So what I would do when I'm making my challenge group invite, I would make one version and then I would change the background or move some pictures around, make a second version, then maybe change the color, maybe change the font, add in a separate picture, make a third version. I personally would make 3 different versions of the challenge group post, but it can be a similar feel, just slightly different, so that you catch people's eyes. And same thing with the post. You can use basically the same skeleton, just maybe switch the order up a little bit, change a little bit of the wording. You don't have to recreate the wheel every single time, but yeah, but I would work smart, but also remember that if people are seeing the exact same thing, they're just going to scroll through it. So you want to be eye-catching in some way. Good. Okay, I see that as a multiple question. Good job. If you are a newer coach, should you start using Woohoo or Google Forms now with your ads? I think so. I think it adds a layer of professionalism. I feel like it's cool to call it a questionnaire, not an application. It's up to you though. It's just a personal preference, but it organizes your information. So I don't see why not. I'd say use it right away. Good question, Jessica. Do you always post them at the same time each time you post a challenge group invite? You're gonna have to do trial and error with this. Over 3 years, I figured out when my audience is most online. For me, the best time, and maybe some of you veteran coaches can share, but the best time for me to post a challenge group invite is Sunday evenings, like 6, 7, 8 p.m. because that's when people are home, getting things organized, catching up, getting things kind of set up for the week ahead. But you're going to have to do trial and error. If you're a young professional, then maybe lunch hour, weekends, probably not weekends to be honest, but maybe lunch hour, maybe after dinner is best for you. If you're a young mom trying to attract more young moms, maybe 6 a.m. is fine because other moms are up doing breakfast with young kids, or maybe nap time, or maybe, I don't know, whatever time your niche audience, your ideal customer, whatever schedule they would follow. So you're going to have to try different times to see what works for you. Yeah, timing can be different for your market. Totally, Alicia. Cool. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for hopping on. This is going to be available for all of our teams if you felt like it was helpful. But my call to action to you is to create a challenge group invite based on the information that I shared with you today. And I want you to hashtag it vital behaviors. That's the first thing. And I want you to also hashtag it DU challenge group, okay? Hashtag DU challenge group, okay? So that way I can kind of look and see you guys putting your knowledge to use, putting some action to what you've learned, and implementing them. So make sure that you go ahead and do that. We've got plenty of time. It's only Thursday. I would recommend getting a post up today. Listen to why. Get a challenge group post up today. My new coaches are posting their stuff tonight, is what I recommended, because Friday becomes date night, Saturday becomes family day. So tonight, people will see it, people will be thinking about it. If they reach out to you, you have plenty of time to get the conversation started, and then Sunday follow up. So Thursday is a great weeknight to post before the busy date nights and family days and all that gets kicked off, or a lot of people are simply offline. So get that up. Hashtag DU challenge group, hashtag vital behaviors, and I can't wait to see them. So congratulations to just amazing things this team is doing. I know we've got a lot of really great small and big milestones everybody's reaching. So I'm just incredibly proud of you, and just want to say thank you to the 100 or so that showed up live and are treating their business like a business. So we'll see you online, and we will see you next week for another team call. But don't forget, get your challenge group invites up tonight because I want to see them. All right, bye you guys. Have a good day.